Hi, everyone. I wanted to do a series on inspirational people for quite a while now. So I'd like to start this off today with our guest, Dominic from the MS Guide. Dominic had me on his channel recently to discuss my experience with MS. But what I want to talk to him about was what inspired him to create his channel and a little bit about his story. So, welcome, Dominic. If you wouldn't mind letting us know a little bit about yourself, what the MS Guide is all about, and what inspired you to start your channel.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for having me on. It's really weird to have the tables turned like this. I got to say, normally I'm the one. Well, I've never been interviewed, so I'm quite flattered. Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
I live in the UK. I live near Oxford. A bit of background. 53. I'm married. I got a daughter who's about to turn 20. So now she'll talk to me if she needs money, but generally, most other times it's just like she's getting on with life, like most 20-year-olds. I I'm half Canadian, so if you think my voice sounds funny, that's why. I was born in Vancouver. I've got two passports. I have been in the UK solidly since 1989, and so I've had most of my career here. I was diagnosed when I was 24 with MS in 1994, and there was no telephones, there was no internet, there was nothing. I had to go
No
look it up.
telephones.
Sorry. No, no, yeah. Not in England. No. We just
A
use
little bit of time travel there.
Well, we use cans on a piece of string, don't you know? But no, there was no mobile phones,
Right.
and so like we're all used to an iPhone now, so it's that just didn't, it wasn't there. It didn't even enter your consciousness. Nobody walked around like this.
Yeah.
So I found out by looking it up in the hospital library because I read my doctor's handwriting upside down when he's had the hermit sign, and I looked in the hospital library because I was working for a pharmaceutical company back in the day, and I
Yeah.
thought that is not looking good.
Mm.
But very little you could do about it. I think it's partly being male, a bloke. It's just like, yeah, whatever, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's the kind of mindset that allows you to smoke, it's wrong,
Yeah.
but people do it anyway, and as did I back in the day. But it was just one of these things, that you just did, because problems were going to happen to somebody else, and that was the rule as a young man, was you weren't going to die, and things happen to other people. The fact is, they also happen to you too. And then if we scroll forward, I was training on my bicycle because I like to stay fit. A, it's good for your MS, but B, I enjoy doing stuff that happens to keep me fit.
Yeah.
And I fell off my bicycle. I was training. It was a fixed gear, the single gear. There's just, it's just a one gear bicycle. It looks like a racing bike, 10 speed, 12 speed, whatever, but it's one gear. And I
Hmm.
was going to ride that London to Brussels in 24 hours, 240 miles. I figured that would be 10 miles an hour, not hard, just average.
Hmm.
And I fell off and I broke my femur really badly. And it turns out that quite a high percentage of people die when they break their femur. So
Really?
apparently, I read it, the ambulance man
Wow.
doesn't normally come to see you in the hospital afterwards because you're just meat to an ambulance guy, aren't you? And he
Oh
said, "Oh, I
gosh.
just want to see how you're doing." I'm like, that's weird. Even through my super drugged haze, there was a guy in a green uniform standing there going, "Are you okay then?" I'm thinking, you never come to see people. Why would you? It's just meat. An ambulance job is to keep you alive until you get to the hospital. Then they can
Yeah.
go, there you go. He's still alive. Not very well, but it's over to you. And I had big operations and I couldn't walk again initially. I
Mm.
woke up very, very high. I have to say, I know what it's like to take heroin because morphine is just heroin. And I was stoned out of my tree for ages. I mean, in some
Oh
ways,
gosh.
government supplied drugs are great, but
Yeah.
I don't like being high the whole time. It's just tedious. You're high. You're not
Hmm.
making good decisions, etc. Anyway, I had to learn to walk again. Um, Done that. I can't really run now. I still have. I can walk. You wouldn't know, but if I run, I look like I'm. As a friend helpfully said to me, "You look like you're trying to pick up sailors," and and I just went,
I'm trying to think if this is a British joke.
yeah. It's just. I think the Brits like to tease the Navy as well, so it's
Okay.
all the services tease it. Anyway. And so that was my first real experience of being disabled, not
Hmm.
being able to walk properly. I'd broken this shoulder as well, so I couldn't even use a cane with this hand. I had a 4-footed cane with my left hand and I was dragging my leg along. It was not a good look. I'd
Mm.
lost a ton of weight.
What kind of helped you to get better and to get through that time period?
We have a phrase in England or a way of describing things. I'm bloody minded. I don't do stopping. I don't do giving up. I've decided, I said to my doctor, he said, "Oh, you've done well." I said, "I'm hard to kill." Um, it's just, and you and I were talking about resilience, and it's super hard to put your finger on it. And I was talking with somebody else in your hometown of Austin
Hmm.
about resilience, and it's super hard to put your finger on it. I just have something inside me which says, "You are not going to get me. You're not going to kill me. You're not going to make it so I can't walk. You're not going to, MS." I mean,
Yeah.
some of the worst feelings in my life has been when things have happened through MS that are irreversible, and you're just having to work out how to deal with them. It's a loss. It's gone. It's not coming back. I have damage to one of my optic nerves, or one of the many nerves that drives the eyes back and forth. Most people
Hmm.
have been asked to follow the finger back and forth. Well,
Hmm.
I don't do that particularly well. It means I can't ride motorbikes anymore. I can't ride bicycles safely anymore. I can't shoot, which is something I used to really enjoy doing, target shooting.
Hmm.
Uh, we don't carry guns in the UK in any way, shape, or form. It's a very controlled pastime, but I used to enjoy target shooting, but I can't.
I like that
And
you use the word those that you said you decided, like you just decided that you weren't going to give up, basically.
I wouldn't even say it was something inside me just doesn't. Yeah,
Hmm.
I I thought about this a lot because I've tried to answer the question so that I can talk about it with other people, and it's just something inside. I don't know. I am not giving up. End of story. You could take away all my clothes, my money, that I had anything, yeah, and I'd be sitting there trying to work out a way to get going again somehow, and think, I mean, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need
Yeah.
heat, water, food, all that kind of thing, and it's just, somebody said, "Oh, you're a survivor," and somebody else said to me, "Oh, you're just relentless," and
Yeah.
I'm not sure it was a complete compliment with them, but it's just, Lauren, I don't know.
You just keep
You know,
going.
yeah. Well, what's your other option? Sit down, wallow in self pity, and disappear down some sort of hole where you just get more and more drugs for your mood and things like this, and nothing's going to change it when, as well as you can, by going outside and just putting one foot in front of the other, and your
Yeah.
body will follow and learn to walk again.
So you went from being, severely injured to regaining your ability to walk again. And you said you can't run now, but you can walk, and
Yeah.
you
No,
still
I
ride a
walked
bike
100
or
miles in 4 days a couple of years ago to raise money for MS charities. In the height of the lockdown, we could go outside on our own. So I did a national trail, the South Downs Way. It's 100 miles. I was going to do it in 5 days, but on day one, I thought, wow, I've done 25 miles. There's nothing else to do but walk. And so
yeah.
you walk and you pitch your tent in the woods and cook your meal, go to sleep, get up in the morning, walk, and just do that. And it took 4 days,
Oh
you know.
wow.
And, but it's just, what else are you going to do? It's embarrassing. If you had to sack off and tell your friends, "Oh, I quit," I mean, I couldn't bear that. It's like I would have bloody crawled the last bit if I'd had to, because I was never going to let somebody know that I cracked. And we call it gobbing off. If I shot my mouth off and been like doing a lot of this, but not a lot of this, it would have been just dreadful. I
Yeah.
couldn't hold my head up even to myself.
Well, sounds like resilience to me.
Sounds like peer pressure to me, but peer pressure that I'm doing in
But
my
in a
head.
positive way, right?
I do it
Yeah.
in my head. I do it to myself. I don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
I can be my own worst critic.
Yeah.
And then, but you asked about the MS guide, and that was me rambling on. I apologize. I was speaking to a friend of mine who we became friends because I interviewed them a couple times for another charity at the height of the pandemic, and we got chatting.
Hmm.
And many people will have seen Dr. Aaron Boster. He's a U.S. neurologist in Idaho, I think,
Hmm.
or yeah, Idaho. And he'll kill me because I keep wanting to say Iowa, but it's Idaho. And
Close enough.
guys, yeah, it's up north for you. Who cares?
Yeah.
Um, and we were talking one afternoon on a Saturday, and he said, "Dom, you really got to start a channel for people with MS." He said, because males are often underrepresented because it's one of the few things where the women outnumber the men. Call
Yes.
it a win for the girls. It's just, it's about 2/3 female to 1/3 male. And
Yeah.
historically, we as a gender are not good at talking about our feelings and thoughts and emotions. And every guy I've interviewed, I say, did you go to the doctor straight away? And they went, no way. It's I just thought take a couple of ibuprofen, on with it. And
Oh,
guy in the U.S. Army recently, Brandon Price, he was just like, and Tyler Campbell, and we all just. I think it's more of a male I'm tough thing. When you're young, you don't want to show weakness,
yeah,
and women tend to be better at allowing themselves to show weakness. So I wouldn't brag about it. It has its benefits, I suppose, but I wouldn't brag about it. That it's great to hide stuff from your doctor for a couple of years.
right.
You know, I was bullied to go to the doctor by a friend who's female who's a doctor. And I said, there's funny things happening. She just sat up and went, well, I think you should go see your doctor if this is happening in a month's time. And because I respected her, I did it. But otherwise, I would have thought, well, it's gone away. What's the point of going to see the doctor?
Yeah.
So I kind of lucked out in that sense. I got diagnosed fairly quickly. But
And
then
and
I
on
started
your
the MS Guide.
channel, you interview a lot of other people who have MS.
That's my aim, is to give a voice. That's why I spoke to you, because you made a comment on one of my videos, and I replied to it because I like to try to make sure that I interact with people.
Mhm.
Um, and then it get to the because you don't know who you're talking to. When you're texting back and forth essentially. And my view is I'll invite somebody on the channel, then I'll have a chat with them to start with, just to make sure that they don't think I'm crazy and I don't think they're crazy. Because
Right.
otherwise
I passed the crazy test. A little bit, you know.
just squeaked in. But
Yeah.
I mean that's why I thought you're interesting and frightening, and so therefore I agreed to do this. But I it's a fairly low bar, frankly. Most people, because I just think we're all different, and people have got things to say, and just because you don't say it like me, as long as you're not like Howl at the Moon crazy, and
Right.
telling me that you like to run through the streets naked and jump into cold water and then rub like tree leaves on yourself.
Well,
That's
I
pretty
mean,
much that's where the
sometimes,
bar is. Well, yeah, I know.
but
But I promise you we wouldn't bring that up. Um, but you know what I mean, yeah. So it's and I will talk to experts because I know a lot of them, but I will talk to an expert with a view to doing something to benefit patients.
is there like a message or like a goal that you're trying to reach with it?
Good question. I wasn't sure when I started.
Mhm.
Initially my sole goal was to make it over 1,000 subscribers, to just see
Which
that's
you
YouTube
have.
for anyone threshold.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and but that was almost like my validation that it was a worthwhile investment of my time, because it's a lot of time, as you know. Yeah, you go, we'll shoot
A
some
lot of
video.
work.
We'll shoot some video, and to edit it is way longer than the shooting. So my aim is to. It was initially then to make money from YouTube, but that's really, really hard. It's actually raising my profile for other things. Other people are coming to me slowly, so I'm doing podcasts for a medical publishing company. I'm not making a living from it. It is
Mhm.
self-funded, but again, I'm bloody minded, and I'm not going to stop.
Mhm.
And I am determined to make this work in some way or another. And I kind of think, Lauren, that it's probably going to show itself the way to make money. But I'm being invited to things. I get invited to conferences to debate stuff, MS medical conferences,
Mhm.
and they call me an expert patient, which I find really weird. Because it's imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
know,
think, you're really making a difference by just
Thank you.
standing up and saying, I'm going to do this. I mean, it takes confidence and time, like you said, and energy, and to reach out to people, and you're really sharing, with others, and helping by showing, patient. It's not just what are the doctors saying, but also what is another person experiencing. Like with every video, if you make a difference for one person,
Yeah, sure.
that's an amazing goal right there. And like you said, you're getting invited to all these different, podcasts and conferences, so you never know where it'll take you. And
Exactly.
that's
So it's,
but
but
you having the courage to create the channel and keep going, like, I think that's amazing. I really do.
it's fun. I mean, I set myself the objective of doing a video a week, and I tend to get minimum that now. So
Good.
it's but I don't know. I think what you're doing is pretty cool too, because you're not all focused on MS. You've got MS, but it's not all about MS. And
Right.
I've got MS, but I've got this funky, crazy, unbelievable life behind me so far.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the few things I haven't done is been to prison. I really think that would suck. But and I don't want to go anytime soon.
Right.
But other than
Yeah.
that, you think I've done some daft stuff.
I know you also mentioned that you were in the reserves.
I was in the police reserves in England. They call it a special constabulary, and I was in that for quite a while, on and off. And again, it was weird to turn up in the car park sometimes. Is I had this really crappy old Land Rover, which I took to taking because when you turn up in this big Mercedes station wagon, all the cops are just looking at you because they're not very well paid, and you're thinking
Mhm.
that was probably a bit tasteless. I'll come in the Land Rover, and but then it sort of gets around going, oh, have you got a Mercedes? Oh, I borrowed it from a friend, and but the main thing is do it properly. Don't shirk your stuff, and then you can bring skills from the outside to help complement what may be missing. I mean, I could punctuate better than some of them I knew. So yeah, my view was let's make the statements easier to read in court because if we want to put somebody away, it's called potting them. Like a cue ball. I mean, like a pool ball.
Mhm.
Then you want to pot them. Then you've got to do a decent job of the paperwork, frankly, and
Okay.
making it an easy to read statement. I mean, it was stupid things like that.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's not all like what you see on TV necessarily. There's other things like paperwork.
imagine being the left fielder in a baseball game. Not a lot happens, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, don't drop it because somebody's popped up this massive fly ball, and you're running around underneath thinking, I'm going to look really bad if I drop this.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like the police. A lot of time watching the grass grow, driving around
Mm.
doing stuff,
Okay.
and then the radio goes, and it's just like all hands to the pumps, because
Yeah.
something big's happened or not. I mean,
And I
I was
suppose
driving.
that's a good thing when the grass is just growing because that means everything is at peace.
You know what?
But
And
but
they
we're
come
happy when you're there to.
don't say it's quiet. You say it's very cute, because if they get very superstitious about saying it's quiet, yeah,
Oh,
you're only allowed to say it's cute.
it's
Um,
cute. Okay.
yeah, but not quiet. I mean, it really upsets people, and I'm thinking it's just a word, but some people get very worked up, going, "Don't, it'll go mad." Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
heck, we were driving along once, me and the sergeant, and the car in front of us just burst into flames. I'm not kidding, like proper. And you're thinking, well, that's interesting and different. And and there's us shutting like this major road, and these guys and getting them, they came out of the car, but it's so rare when things like that happen to you. And you see the TV programs, and it's like excitement, excitement,
Yeah.
excitement, gun down, freeze, run, freeze,
Yeah.
gun. It's like that's taken them thousands of hours of shooting to edit all together one episode of
Hmm.
lots of drop your gun or I'll shoot you type stuff,
Hmm.
and
So there's
it,
usually only one car exploding in front of you, not several.
yeah, and as the skipper, the sergeant said, he said, well, I haven't seen that in my 28 years, and
Wow.
we just there going, oh well, it's on fire now, and you just kind of got to deal with it,
Right.
end of, you're the one dealing, and everyone looks at you because you're wearing a uniform and they expect you know exactly what you're doing, and you think, I'm making this up as I go, but I'm one page ahead of you in the book, and so we're
Right.
just gonna. But
Yeah.
it's like MS, half the time, fake it till you make it,
Yeah.
you know.
It sounds like most of life, just be one page ahead, right?
Well, yeah, sometimes you're a page behind and you realize it, and then you sort of learn,
Hmm.
But well, yeah, it's always my aim just to be that one page ahead, just one, because the
Hmm.
rest I can fool you with the rest of the stuff, but as long as I'm one page, you don't know.
There we
Yeah.
go.
So but yeah, MS is like that too.
I think it's great what you're doing though, with the channel. I really wish you a lot of success with that and I can't wait to see, you get even more subscribers and the podcasts and what else it'll grow into.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I hope it turns into something. I said to my doctor, my neurologist, who's quite well known, I said, tell me this isn't some sort of vanity project. And he said, no. He said, you're getting noticed and you're helping people. And I thought, well, that's all I need to hear, you
Yeah,
know. And so for him to say that to me was very validating.
definitely. I agree.
Yeah. So,
Um,
hey, Lauren Jane, it's been so cool to talk to you, and I'm really, really flattered you had me on.
yes, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all your life's adventures. And I'm sure there's a lot more we didn't cover, but
Yeah, if you have problems sleeping, you can always call me back and I'll just bore you to sleep.
oh no, no,
So
no.
it's yeah, and likewise, it's I want to know more about your art. So frankly, your next painting, I think you ought to be bringing it on and showing the MS guy what you done.
There we go. Okay,
All
great.
right, deal?
Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day. Okay.
You bet. Thanks.